is the Dell Ultrasharp 1908FP. This 19-inch LCD beauty was released around September 2008. Well, at least that's what it says in the user's guide. It supports a whopping 1280 by 1024 resolution with a 5:4 aspect ratio. The brightness goes up to a whopping 300 nits. It weighs a whopping 13 pounds with the stand, of course, uses only 60 watts of max power, and has a whopping 4 USB ports, but I will get to that in a bit. So, after unboxing the monitor, and by that I mean ordering it from eBay because obviously these aren't being made anymore, so I held the monitor for the first time and I gotta tell you guys, it definitely feels like a premium 5x4 monitor from 2008. Like, the material on the back especially feels like, I mean, sure, it's plastic, but it's like a sturdy plastic. You know what I mean? It doesn't really feel cheap. It feels like they really put a lot of effort into this monitor. Though then again, this was also around the time when Dell were making their Dimension series of computers, which those were also built very well, gained a very big cult following. So Dell really cared about their hardware back in the day, for the most part. I mean, sure, there were times where it was shoddy, like, oh, I don't know, the batteries in some of their laptops exploding. Hey, when they made something well, they made it really well. Let's take a look at the ports. This monitor comes with a power port. Duh! You got a VGA port, a DVI port, and you get 4 USB ports. Yep, this monitor actually has USB on it. This allows you with a USB upstream cable to connect your monitor to a USB port on the back of your computer. So this way, you don't have to plug in your keyboard, mouse, flash drive, etc., into the back of the computer. You can now just plug all that into your monitor, which is great. There was also a port for an optional Dell soundbar you could order, so this way you could have speakers without speakers. So why did I order this monitor, you might be asking? Well, I was getting tired of using my old Sanyo TV as a monitor because the picture just didn't look right. Like you saw in my previous videos that the pictures just looked kind of stretched and some of the games were just having issues with it, like screen tearing. And I was like, you know what? I'm getting a new monitor. So I went to a couple of thrift stores to find a 4x3 monitor. The first thrift store, Goodwill, no luck at all. The second one, a Salvation Army, had plenty of monitors around, but there was only one in that bunch that was a 4x3, which was this Polaroid monitor made in 2006. I'll put the model number up on screen. You know, I tested it at the store. It worked fine. I bought it. I brought it home. First thing I noticed right off the bat, the picture was fuzzy. There was all sorts of ghosting. Plus, it was making this weird popping sound every 2 seconds. I mean, it was super obnoxious. Then, to top it off, the thing died 15 minutes later. So yeah, I was like, screw it, and I just looked on eBay. I remember Billy from the Nostalgia Mall using a Dell monitor that looked almost exactly like this monitor that I got. So I looked up, you know, just Dell 4x3 monitor, and well, I think I may have found it. Maybe. I don't know like size his monitor was, but yeah, this is a 19-inch, so I guess the lesson is when thrifting, even if you test a monitor and it works, it still might just kick the bucket very quickly after like mine did. So yeah, I'm not getting a monitor at a thrift store again, that's for sure. Now, let's talk about my first time using this monitor. I hooked up the monitor to the computer, you know, I plugged in the power cable, I did everything just to hook it up, turned on the power, and it just turned on absolutely flawlessly. There was no popping noise, no ghosting, no color distortion. The picture was just perfect when I saw that Foxconn logo. Then when I saw Windows 98 load up, the colors were just perfect. Like exactly how it should be. I mean, granted, it's not an OLED display, but hey, This was 2008, and there really wasn't such thing as OLED back then. So this was pretty much the best you could do. I gotta say, despite this being a 5x4 monitor, it adjusts to 4x3 like flawlessly. Like, it still looks just like a 4x3. There's even times like where I'm playing a game on this thing, I don't even notice it's a 5x4 monitor because it looks that good. You could change the settings for like the brightness, the contrast, the hue, and more with the menu button. It pretty much has the settings I expect. Plus, it's easy to navigate. You know, you don't got to worry about hitting buttons that you can't see to adjust the settings. You know, it's very simple. You got the buttons, like symbols of the buttons, they're right there. You can see what they do. It's easy to learn, and it's just easy to use. So I tested some retro PC gaming with this monitor, starting with, of course, Jimmy Neutron. The colors, the image quality, just the everything seems to be just perfect. No screen tearing, there's no lag, there's nothing. It just worked. I then tested Lego Island, and this was a game that on my Sanyo TV was having a very bad stretch issue, plus a really bad screen tearing issue, though that might just be because of that GeForce 2 MX 400 that I had in my Dell Dimension 2350. Wait a minute. Dang it, why didn't I use that as the test subject instead of my custom PC? I mean, it would have been far more fitting. You know what? Whatever. My point is the issues are basically gone, and, you know, Lego Island just runs beautifully now. Even simple games like Operation run flawlessly through this, though, to be honest, it's a 2D game, so it should be a piece of cake even on a potato. So yeah, honestly, this monitor, in my opinion, is a great option for retro PC gaming. It's cheap in price, but build quality is superb. The colors are natural, it's easy to use, and it adjusts to 4x3 perfectly, despite this being a 5x4 monitor. Let me tell you, it was great to finally have a proper retro gaming LCD monitor after a couple of years. I had an Acer 1280 by 1024 monitor from 2013, I believe. I could be wrong, but that monitor was probably my favorite 4x3 monitor. I checked everywhere in my house. I checked my parents' house. I couldn't find it anywhere. I probably got rid of it when moving to this house, which sucks, but you know what? Hey, now I have this monitor. I believe it's a bigger screen to boot. You know, considering this screen size is a whopping 19 inches, which is perfect because it helps me see the screen better while not being too big. That was actually another problem with the Sanyo TV too, was that it was just too big. I don't need anything that big, you know, wasting so much space just for a retro PC gaming setup, you know? Plus, I'm planning on making, you know, this custom PC here, my retro game capture PC, if in the future I decide to make videos on these older PC games, and having this monitor besides my main monitor would actually be a real treat. Just seeing like my modern, like Windows 11 next to an ancient Windows 98 SC, you know, it's just hilarious, but fascinating all at once, and it's really cool to me. But yeah, guys, those are my thoughts on this monitor. It's amazing, it's amazing, it's amazing, If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure you click the like button and click subscribe, and hit that bell for notifications of my upcoming videos. Until next time, guys, peace!